Yesterday in writing, we talked about choosing a topic, and I've settled on animals for our first informational writing assignment. So you got to choose which animal you wanted to talk about. Well, I chose frogs. So today, I went to the library and I found a book called Fun Facts About Frogs. And I really like this book because it's an informational book about the animal that I chose. And we're going to be doing some research. So I wanted to make sure that I got all my facts correct before I taught this lesson. So I went and I looked in the library for a book to read to make sure that I get my facts correct. Also, I like the way that this book is set up because this is kind of how we're going to be doing our own writing. Today we're going to move from picking a topic into choosing subtopics. A subtopic is kind of like a heading. Generally, you'll see a heading whenever we're talking about an article, like from the newspaper or a magazine, or something shorter. But in a book, we get subtopics. Subtopics are also known as chapters, okay? But these are some really short chapters. So it could either be a heading, a chapter, a subtopic. We're going to stick with subtopic for our vocabulary, okay? But all three of them are the same thing. So if I slip up and call it the wrong thing, now you know. They are all the same type of thing. So when I was looking at this book, Fun Facts About Frogs, the first thing I looked at is my table of contents because I wanted to see what I was going to see in this book. So it has words to know. Where do frogs live? What do frogs eat? What eats frogs? Is it a frog or a toad? Do frogs make sound? And a whole bunch of other things in this little book. And it got me to thinking, wow, that means that each one of these items is a subtopic about frogs. Let me say that again. Each one of these items is a subtopic about frogs. So the author, which is what you're going to be, chose different things to talk about, and they organized their book in a way that would make sense to the reader. So if I wanted to know what eats frogs, I know I can turn to page 9 and read all about that. And that whole subtopic is going to be about what eats frogs. If I wanted to know what frogs eat, I could turn to this subtopic and I would know what frogs eat because the author put all of that same information together. So I want to read some of this book to you so we can see what an expert has done as far as organizing from a topic, from frogs, into the subtopics, which is what they chose to do in this book. So we start first with words to know. First we have life cycle, the different steps in an animal's life. That's good to know. Lungs, part of the body that breathes air. Habitat, the place where an animal or plant lives and grows. Tadpole, first stage in the life of a frog. Vocal cords, part of the throat where sound is made. And then it's also given me a diagram of what a frog looks like. So now I know the parts of a frog. First subtopic. Where do frogs live? This is a really cool picture. Most frogs live in places that are warm and wet. Some frogs live in water. Others live on land. Most spend part of their time in water and part on land. There are even frogs that live high up in the trees. So this whole section told me where frogs live. It told me that they live in places that are warm and wet, and then it went on to give me details about where that might be. What do frogs eat? Frogs eat things such as spiders, bugs, earthworms, and snails. The frog's sticky tongue shoots out. It grabs a bug walking or flying by. The frog holds the wiggling bug in its mouth. Gulp! The frog swallows its meal whole. So on this subtopic, I learn all about what frogs eat. It gives me kind of a main idea, and then it supports that idea by giving me details on how a frog goes about getting its meal. Check this out. That frog is eating a dragonfly whole. It's kind of cool. Oh, that frog is having a bad day. What eats frogs? So this is another subtopic. This one is going to talk all about what eats frogs. This author has done a very good job of being specific about what each one of his subtopics is. So today in writing, you're going to get to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and read this page, and then we're going to move on so I can show you what we'll be doing today. So, what eats frogs? Many animals eat frogs. A few of them are birds, fish, snakes, and bats. Some frogs jump into the water to get away from danger. Others change color and hide in the leaves. Many frogs are the same color as their habitat where they live. Where did the frog go? Can you spy the frog in that picture? I see him. He's right here. He's a big Argentine horned frog. He's hiding right there. Okay, so we're going to focus on subtopics. Everybody chose an animal yesterday that they know something about. Today, you get to make an author's choice about what you want to write about that animal. Let me show you what I mean. On the next page of your Class Kick lessons today, you're going to see this page. It looks just like this, although this part is fixed on yours. And this is called Writing Subtopics. So the very first thing that I would like you to do is please type in the green box that's on your page. I'm going to pull out so you can see more. You're going to type in the box right here that says overall topic, what animal you chose to write about. So, since mine is not like yours has the little green box where all you have to do is type. I chose to write about frogs. Oh, I'm going to make that a different color so it's easier to see. So, I'm choosing to write about frogs. So that is my overall topic. Now I need to choose my subtopics. Remember, just like we saw in that book, a subtopic is an idea that you want to write about your animal. So I think I want to write about the frog's life cycle. I want to talk about the life cycle of a frog because I find that to be kind of interesting. I love that they go from eggs to tadpoles and then move on up. They start with a tail and then end with that one. It's kind of cool. So subtopic 1 for me is going to be life cycle. Subtopic number 2, I think subtopic number 2 might be, I think we're going to talk about their diet. Like, what do frogs eat? So I'm going to write diet because it's smaller. And then, or actually, you know what? I'll make my font smaller. What do frogs eat? Right up here on the top, there's a make it smaller button, so you can make your font smaller so it all fits. So what do frogs eat is going to be topic number 2. And then subtopic number 3, I think I want to talk about frogs as prey. That means that other things eat frogs, just like we read in the book. So I have chosen my 3 subtopics. My overall topic is frogs. I'm going to talk about their life cycle. I'm going to talk about what they eat. And I'm going to talk about what eats them. Now look at all of this blank space that I still have on my page. What am I supposed to do with that? Well, this is where you get to write what you know about those things already. So, what do I know about the life cycle of a frog? I know they start as eggs, and then they go to tadpole, And then there's a phase in between, but I don't remember what it is. And then they have an adult frog. So I'm missing some information right here. But I know I can do research and find it. Okay, so I've written stuff about subtopic number 1. Those are the things that I know. Let's talk about subtopic number 2. What do frogs eat? Well, I know they eat dragonflies because I just read about that. So dragonflies, they probably eat flies, just regular flies. Oh, I know they eat with their tongue. And I know that it is sticky and long. What else do we know about what frogs eat? Well, it's going to have to be by water because most frogs are in wet places. So, water insects, but I'm not real sure about that one, so I'm going to put a question mark. Okay, now I've written about my topic. I've written about subtopic number 1, life cycle. Subtopic number 2, everything I know about what frogs eat. Now I need to talk about frogs as prey. So, what eats frogs? Well, it said in that book that bats eat frogs, birds eat frogs. I saw that in the picture. What else eats frogs? And why do they eat frogs? Ooh, that's a good question. Why do they eat frogs? So you'll notice that some of my information is missing. I'm not sure what water insects they eat, nor am I sure why predators eat frogs. So I have some more research I need to do, but I have a good start on what I know already. So, life cycle. I know this about the life cycle. What do frogs eat? I know this. Frogs is prey. What eats frogs? This I know. But I have one more thing I need to do. Down here at the bottom, you are going to have a green box, and it has a question. And it says, what else do you need to research? Well, I need to know what comes between a tadpole and an adult frog. That's one question I need to research. Something else I need to research? What other water insects do frogs eat? Because I have that one right here. So this is where I'm missing information, and this is where I have a question. And then I have another question. Let me scroll up some so you can see it. And my other question was, why do bigger animals eat frogs? So these are things that I still want to know the answer to. So I'm writing them down so I don't forget. Okay, so this is what you're going to be working on today for writing. Now, I know it's a lot of writing, but whatever you put on this page also needs to go in your journal. I'll show you a picture of what I mean. Okay, I did the quick switch and I am back in my journal. This is our brainstorming a topic page that we used yesterday. This can be used to help you figure out subtopics. Okay? So life cycle was one of my subtopics for frogs. I had forgotten that I wrote these. Maybe I'll go back and change it. But then I went with what do they eat? So their diet. I can add to my bubble sheet if I need to. So this is where you might get some of your subtopics for today. You can use what you've written here already to help you write today's work. When you go to write your stuff in your journal, here's what I need you to do. Number 1, make sure you number your pages. 68, I'm on page 69. And this is going to be writing subtopics. Okay? Don't forget your date. So here's what goes in my journal. I need to put my topic. I need to put my subtopics. There's 3 of them. Okay? And then I need to write down whatever I wrote in those columns. So write those down. And then at the bottom, write your questions. Okay? This is what I would like you to do. That way you have the information for when we start building off of this again. Okay? And I will come up with another plan, one that doesn't involve doubling up everything, just as soon as I can. Okie doke. But for right now, I'd like you to do this in your journal before you turn in your class kick pages. All right, guys, have fun writing.